I'm Paula Reed and I'm an adventurer, round-the-world yachtswoman, polar explorer and endurance cyclist, and so far I've cycled across 17 countries. When I shared my idea of cycling across Ukraine, a war zone for charity, I got mixed reactions, I must admit. Was I being naive or stupid or reckless? I don't think so. I think I was daring greatly. There will always be non-believers, those who doubt, discourage and drain our ambitions. Daring greatly comes from the Man in the Arena speech by Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena. And who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. From Odessa on the Black Sea in the south to Chernobyl near Belarus in the north, this was a cycle of 675 kilometres.
Here I am cycling across Ukraine. It's all going well.
So I decided to play it big, not small, and set off on the 11th of September to cycle across Ukraine.
And it's all for Siobhan's Trust, who give lots of love and free pizza to the IDPs and military in Ukraine.
I had some cycling companions on the way, a local cyclist in Odessa called Ihor and Neil Lawton, who accompanied me every day on his penny farthing.
Cycling across Ukraine on a penny farthing. Yeah, slightly mad dogs and Englishmen, granted. It was actually Paula Reed's, the adventure psychologist's idea.
I'm just cycling past a field of dried sunflowers, which is their national flower and symbol of hope.
While cycling across Ukraine, I wanted to meet locals and listen to them, to capture their personal experiences, because the Ukrainians are daring greatly too, so we recorded some of their stories.
Стремиться даже в таких условиях надо привыкать жить, надо привыкать и надеяться, что это когда-нибудь все закончится. Война, она не вечна, она ж...
Odessa is a beautiful city, but on the day I started, on day 566 of the invasion, it was being hammered by incoming missiles.
A second night of what Ukraine describes as hellish aerial assaults by Russia on the city of Odessa, home to Ukraine's primary grain shipment port in the Black Sea.
That very day, on the 13th of September that I started, a Russian submarine was hit by a Ukrainian missile in the Black Sea. We decided to cycle out of Odessa as quickly as possible.
Cycling along the E95, done 100 miles north of Odessa, and there's Neil Lawton on his penny farthing. Although we are on a never-ending hill at the moment. It's all going well, really pleased, lots of fantastic support and donations coming in, thank you very much. Done 200 miles, I'm about halfway across the country, and now we're near a place called Uman in the middle of the country. So we've got a bit of pizza party going on.
Uman had been hit by missiles 3 months before we arrived, and 19 people of their community had lost their lives. Later on this challenge, we also served pizzas at an orphanage in Lviv to 17 children who'd lost both of their parents because of the war.
Good morning, here we are. It's a beautiful misty morning. We've just been sleeping near a half-built church, and the sun's just coming up.
On day 5, I cycled for 10 hours with the back brake stuck on. My chain had come off twice. It was 86 degrees Fahrenheit. I arrived in Makariv dirty, sweaty and grumpy, but then was immediately humbled to meet 8 women celebrating a 23rd birthday party while showing me photos and videos of their destroyed homes and lost family and friends. The Battle of Makariv was an attempt by the Russians to get to Kyiv in a column of 55 tanks and armoured vehicles. The town was occupied and shelled for a month. 40% of the town was destroyed and 200 civilians killed.
І насправді, коли вже все закінчилося, ми змогли в містечко. Було дуже складно бачити всі руйнування. Ось зараз ми знаходимося в тренованій...
I cycled through Borodyanka, where most of the buildings were destroyed by Russian airstrikes and hundreds were killed. Near to some bombed-out apartment blocks, Banksy had left a powerful work of art called David and Goliath. This was inspiration among the rubble for me and for everyone who walks past it every day.
It was a really poignant moment for me, not only seeing a Banksy in the middle of this devastation, but the juxtaposition between devastation and the hope of a country that wants to be free
In Bucha, we visited a newly unveiled memorial to the 501 citizens who were killed. In Kyiv, we met up with some Ukrainian MPs and talked about trauma that children were suffering from.
Here we are in Kyiv, 350 miles into your cycle across Ukraine challenge.
Yeah, so as you said, I've done 350 miles, which is 550 kilometres. We're going to see how far north we're allowed to go, because the Belarus border, of course, is north to us, so we're going to have to be careful of any military operations or checkpoints and hopefully get all the way to the border with Belarus. But as you know, we had an air raid siren last night, and we've had them every night, in this area. Everyone's trying to go about their daily business, and yet once or twice or three times a night they've got the air alarms going off, and obviously sometimes going to the shelters. So that's a constant repetitive trauma, isn't it?
Ну, частіше всього я просто собі вмикаю якусь гру на планшеті, чи щось не то на цього, і просто сижу. Але якщо сильна тривога, то ми спускаємося у підвал, і там, якщо навіть інтернету немає, я, звісно, можу, але навіть коли це не заспокоює, і це дуже гучно.
Cycling along in quite a military zone now, and fascinating to look at the landscape around me, but also an extra incentive when you cycle past what looks to be a dugout with some camo netting over the top, and cycle past, look back and see a tank turret facing you, so it gives you a bit of an incentive to cycle a bit faster.
At the end of the cycle, after nearly 700 kilometres and maybe 40 military checkpoints and countless air raid sirens, the Ukrainian military presence was pretty heavy.
Unfortunately, we can't get in. It's a militarised zone now. So this is the new Ukrainian northern border, and we've made it to the end. I'm really happy about that.
We were asked to stop just short of the border with Belarus at the Chernobyl exclusion zone, and respectfully, this was the end of the journey. From the first fragile thought to cycle across Ukraine for charity, to the doubts, anxieties and challenges, we achieved so much by daring greatly. We raised funds, awareness, media coverage and 400 miles of smiles. But for me, the main success was just being there for them.
We're here with the message of support, love and hope. Slava Ukraine!
Heroem Slava!
Dare greatly. Playing small does not serve the world.